in action. We
Yeah,
back in action.
yeah. So you ain't like the trade.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you ain't
So
like the
I'm good,
trade.
bro. I did not like the trade, simply because you're giving up a Golden Glove guy. Like it's hard for me to give up a Golden Glove guy for and this is my thought process. You're making room
Hmm.
for the guy you drafted, Travis B, last year, #1 overall, right? You love what you're seeing
Right.
in Double A or Single A, whatever he was at, high level A, and you got to make room for him. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's only his second year, maybe going to his third year of Jimenez's deal, correct?
Yeah, I think this is the third year of the deal.
So why third year of the deal? Why are you giving up so quickly? Breakout year in 2022. Golden Glove winner, All Star appearance, batting high 280, 290. The last 2 years, I get it. You were batting in the 250s. He wasn't really being consistent at the plate like you want him to when you gave him that money to be consistent, right? But he's only 26 years old. Let's find a way to make him a little more consistent in the batter's box, but don't just trade him and get away from him. Plus, I'm looking at your shortstop right now. If you really love Travis B as your potential second baseman, you can move him in there as the shortstop. And he's more consistent in the field and more consistent at the plate right now than your shortstop Rocchio right now. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Roche, how you say is it Rocchio?
Rocchio, Brian Rocchio.
Rocchio, sorry, Rocchio. Rocchio's batting at about 206 right now, and he's been making some plays at shortstop where you're like, yeah, this dude can be it. 23 years old, like he can make some plays. Then
Mhm.
there's like routine plays he's missing. Right now in the playoffs, he stood up. He played well in the playoffs. Can't knock that. So maybe the Indians see that in the playoffs and like, okay, we can believe in him at shortstop and then go with the young guy at second base eventually, right? But for me, I'm just like, oh, I understand the inconsistent bat. It's just for me, it's hard to give up a 26-year-old Golden Glove winner only in his third year of his deal.
For me, man, to me, the platinum glove that Andres Gimenez has, it just wasn't enough for me, bro. Like when I look at him, I think he is all world defensively, but he's subpar offensively. And when you don't drive
Mhm.
in runs and when you don't help produce runs, then to me, you become a liability. Check this out real quick. This is his stats this season versus his career. He batted 252 this year with 9 home runs, 63 RBIs, and he had an OPS of 638. My man had 538 plate appearances. So to me, that's equivalent to a whole season. It's not like he was hurt. It's not like, he had anything injury wise that caused him to be this cold at the plate. And then if you go back and you just look overall in his career, I mean, 261, 49, 222 OPS to 715. To me, the Guardians was not getting return on investment when it came to that contract. In my opinion, the contract was a bad contract and they got an opportunity to get out of it. Now, to most of the
Mhm.
fan base, it might look like here's the Guardians once again shedding the salary cap, trying to save money. But to me, this looks like a smart baseball move because you do have Travis Bazana coming up that can play second base, will be second base at second base. And to me, it looks like he
Mhm.
has the opportunity right now to compete to be that opening day second baseman. I like Rocchio at shortstop. He's not what Jimenez is defensively, but to me, he brings a little bit
Mhm.
more to the plate offensively. And I get it. The full season wasn't that great, but if you look in the small realm of what he did in the playoffs, he batted 333, 11 to 33 at the plate with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. This was a young man to me that he seemed like he came on stronger as we got towards the end of the regular season and as we got towards the playoffs. And then one of the things that the Guardians did was I think they took the infielder that they got, Spencer
Yes.
Horwitz, and they
Horwitz,
flipped
yes.
him. They
I
flipped
do
him
like
for a
that part.
pitcher. Yeah, and so
I
look,
do like that part.
you get this dude right here, Luis Ortiz, who shout out to Adam the Bull, and you will hear more about this on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show coming up at 11 a.m. But Bull talked about, you get Ortiz in here who can be like a middle of the rotation type of cat that you can throw in there. And I think that part of it is very important because we just spent the 14 million on Shane Bieber, and we won't have Shane Bieber until after the All-Star break.
Mhm.
And so you still needed to invest in pitching because of the uncertainties to Tristan McKenzie, of Gavin Williams. I think we know what we got in Tanner Bybee, Logan Allen, Cantillo. So like just all these different dudes that's going to be in the mix. But the only sure thing that we had was Bybee. And even that, it was Tanner Bybee. And even after the move to re-sign Shane Bieber, we still knew we needed some, help with the starting pitching. So for me, I like it. And before we move on, like I'll just tell you this. I did a show last Saturday on 92.3 The Fan, and we were just talking about potential lineups, right? I don't think the Guardians are done dealing. I think it's a strong possibility that they move on from Josh Naylor. And if you look at all these young prospects that they got, dude, like to me, my vision was you got Jose at third base, you got Rocchio at shortstop, you got Bazana at second, you got Manzardo as your everyday first baseman, you got Hedges and Bo Naylor splitting time behind the plate, Quan in left field. You keep Lane Thomas, keep him in center field. Chase the young cat that's in AAA right now, make him your right fielder. And Noel is your everyday DH. That's how I would do it. Now, I'm not saying like that's the perfect lineup, but I'm just having this vision of, based on what I know from the players I've seen last year and everything that I've heard from people who are bigger baseball experts like Adam the Bull about these young prospects that's coming up. So to me, it'd be interesting. The Guardians is out here making moves. Let's read some of the comments before we move in to see what they got to say about it. What's up? What you got to say?
Well, you're all in on Rocchio more than me. I want him to do well, and after the playoff run, it speaks for itself. I think he did awesome in the playoffs. It's just in the bigger resume, the 160 plus games or whatever it was, the times he was at shortstop, I just wasn't sold on him being consistent. So I'm hoping he does. I'm just a little like, oh. But as far as the Horwitz trade, when you get that first baseman, second baseman, and you flip him for what you need, you get an outfielder. I think you get you got a minor league outfielder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's center fielder.
Right, and then you got three pitchers. One of them being Ortiz. One of being Ortiz, and then two other prospects. And the pitching staff you have does a good job developing pitchers. So I'm excited that you are addressing your starting. You are addressing what you needed big in this winter was some type of pitchers, and possibly Ortiz can be in that, like you said, middle of the range rotation guy. So we'll see how it goes.
Jake Aubrey says, I think the reason they traded him is because of the underlying data is saying he was declining. Yeah, he's a great defender, but he's a net negative. The pitcher they got back is a third starter. John says, top 10 WAR in the league since 2022. Tough way to go. B. Skrill says, plus they got back a starting pitcher in Luis Ortiz and two left-handed pitchers out of the minors. So it seems like, we got some mixed reactions. Shout out to Ray says, I love to see 206 Collinwood alumni, man. If you ain't a railroader, I don't really know what you have done. You know what I'm saying? Somebody somewhere went wrong.